Now, I am calling this, at this point, a chaotic presidency. Here's the president taking aim at the Attorney General again. Watch this.
I am disappointed in the Attorney General. He should not have recused himself almost immediately after he took office. And if he was going to recuse himself, he should have told me prior to taking office, and I would have quite simply picked somebody else. So I think that's a bad thing, not for the president, but for the presidency. I think it's unfair to the presidency, and that's the way I feel.
Again, he goes after his own Attorney General. Come on in, Newt Gingrich, author of the #1 New York Times bestseller, Understanding Trump. It takes some understanding, Newt. I've been saying all morning this is a chaotic presidency, and I'm wondering if you agree with me, and does it affect the legislative process for the Trump growth agenda?
Well, no, look, first of all, I don't think it's a chaotic presidency. I think there are an enormous number of things happening that are remarkable. I think yesterday alone, the president, I think, got 4 or 5 senators to vote yes, who started out in the morning thinking they're going to vote no. I think what he's done with judges, the fact that they've repealed 16 regulations for every single new regulation. There are lots of places they're doing great things. You know, the fact that you have Amazon hiring 50,000 people on Jobs Day. There's a confidence in the economy, the highest in 16 years. So the underlying system is working pretty well. But I think President Trump, on occasion, stirs things up. And to be honest, I think he has a pretty legitimate reason for being really angry. The whole process of the way that the Mueller investigation has evolved is a witch hunt. And I think if you were the President of the United States and you watched your son-in-law, you watched your son, as he tweeted yesterday, he expects that Barron, who's 11, will be investigated next. I mean, I think what you're seeing is his frustration with what he thinks is a Justice Department that is running amok, and that he expects the Attorney General to take greater control of it. I think it's a very painful, difficult thing. Trump tends to be very much out front. I personally wouldn't have done it this way. But on the other hand, he's been very successful being who he is.
Here's something else that is served up, that he's out front on. He's telling the Wall Street Journal that he may tax the rich some more to help ease the burden on the middle class. Isn't that the complete opposite of what we've been hearing about tax cuts and stimulus and growth?
Well, look, personally, I think that'd be dumb. I don't think you have to cut taxes on the rich. I think if we get to 3% or 4% economic growth, everybody who's wealthy will be fine. So I'm not for cutting the tax rate on the wealthy. Leave it alone. Take away from the New York Times and the liberals the argument that we're for tax cuts for the rich. I think if you get to a 15% corporate rate, a pass-through to small business, a good big middle-class tax cut retroactive to January 1, and then you repatriate the trillions of dollars offshore, you'll have this economy really, really moving in the first 2 quarters of next year. The Republicans will keep the House, will pick up probably 6 Senate seats, but that has to be done by Thanksgiving in order to be in a position to have the economy rolling in the first quarter. If they do that, they don't need to raise taxes on the rich. I don't see any reason to do it. I think that they don't, frankly, I think it would be a mistake, both in a psychological sense and in a practical economic sense.
Yeah. Your book is called Understanding Trump. I'm going to read it, because I need some erudition on this, and you're going to supply it.
Well, remember, it's not called Predicting Trump, because I don't think it's possible to predict Trump.
I just hope that the country eventually comes to understand this president, because I don't think they do at the moment. Newt, it was a pleasure. Always is.
Great.
Thanks for joining us, sir.